From a very young age, I've noticed that homelessness is a really big issue in today's society. My name's Jeevan Chahal, and I'll be exploring the different issues of homelessness and whether there are initiatives to help this big issue. There are many different types of homelessness. With this being said, we asked the public what homelessness is, whether they see homeless people on a regular basis, and what do they think the government are doing to help this big issue.
All these poor people sleeping on the streets.
Yes, somewhere you can't go back to necessarily. You feel comfortable and warm there. It might just be a cheap flat or something.
It's people who probably don't have a house to live in, and then they should be given a house to live in.
Yeah, definitely. There's loads in Ilford. Round the back there, they've made up like they've got all mattresses on the floor and duvets. I don't know where they've got them from, but there's tons round the corner.
I do, yeah. I even saw one today in the morning before I was coming to work.
Yeah, if you go to Westfield, you'll see people just sitting around. You do wonder sometimes if they aren't why they're there because they're homeless. So that's a possibility, yeah.
I don't think so, because the amount of homeless people I see every day is increased. So it should be, which kind of means, in my opinion, that they're not doing enough.
Nothing. I think there's a lot more that could be done for them. A lot more.
According to research, there are three main types of homelessness: situational or transitional. This is when someone is forced into homelessness because of uncontrollable circumstances, such as losing a job. Episodic. This is when a person repeatedly falls in and out of homelessness. This is mainly due to complex needs such as drug addictions or mental issues. Chronic. This is when an individual is in the street for a long period of time and very few or no resources are at their disposition to modify their situation. Last year there were 4,134 rough sleepers living on the streets of the UK. That's a 16% increase from 2015. I'm in Ilford today to find out what initiatives are out there to decrease this population. I'm here at the Salvation Army based in Ilford. I'm going to explore what they do and how they help the homeless.
The cold weather shelter is open every year between December and March, and we have about 28 people every night who sleep here, get fed, sleep overnight, and then leave in the morning about 7 o'clock. The people who come into the shelter, they're referred from another centre. So the most vulnerable people in Redbridge, they are allocated a bed, and there's also a waiting list with probably about 40-50 names on that waiting list. So the first 28 people on the list, they get a bed. If they don't come on by 8:30, they'll lose their spot to someone on the waiting list. And during the day, what happens, the people in the shelter, they go to another centre called the Welcome Centre. The Welcome Centre will give them advice, legal advice, housing advice, benefits advice, to help them move from being homeless to being housed, or at least getting some sort of temporary accommodation.
Another charity that I've luckily been in contact with is the Sikh Voluntary Association. Now they've allowed me to come to one of their feeds later on this evening. Behind me is where it will happen. They feed around 60 to 70 homeless people every Tuesday evening.
We are a group of people who came together just under 2 years ago, and we noticed that there was a problem with homelessness in our area, and what we wanted to do mainly was provide them with a basic need, which is food. And at the moment what we're doing is we're doing 2 feeds, one from Ilford and one from Brick Lane, and we're feeding about just under 100 people a week in Ilford, and we just started in Brick Lane, so we're feeding about 20 to 30 service users there. We have about 100 volunteers in our organisation, and we also do various other projects in the community. We work with the Salvation Army in the shelter on a Tuesday as well. One thing that was really important to us is that we wanted to get the local youth involved as well with the charity work that we do, and we thought what was the best way to do this, so to make it fun for them, to bring them in the first place, and we started doing something called the Youth Feed. So once a month we invite the local youth to come and help prepare food with us, and they get involved with all the cooking and the packing of the food, and then some of the older ones actually come out and helped on the street feed with us as well.
Hi, so we're out on the feed at the moment in Ilford. As you can see, we've got everyone busy working hard, giving out hot food. We haven't got that many guests today. I think it's because it's been wet weather and also the shelter's open. We've done chips and beans, we've got a nice hot dessert as well, and we've got snacks.
I've explored 2 different charities in Ilford that help the homeless, not only feed them but also accommodate. I've been able to get in contact with a gentleman who has been homeless for most of his life. He's going to give me an insight on how he became homeless and how it actually feels.
I'm not innocent in all this. I had a drug problem. But that kind of contributed to it, and then I wanted to get away from the drugs and the people I was around, so I left where I was living and I was sleeping in my van in the summer, and that was alright. It was quite comfortable, and I thought I'd get where I was working for, I'd save some money and I'd get a place. And it never come to fruition. I lost the job. I couldn't hold the job down. It was too painful to work. I got something wrong with my shoulder, to cyst on it. It needs removing, and I'm a painter, and the pain was incredible. So I stopped working. I took an overdose, then I tried to hang myself. I just thought, I can't take it. I just can't take it. But I don't know, it didn't work. So it just made me really, really ill. And luckily, I think the people down the Welcome Centre, the local place around here where we go and have us dinner every day, thank God there is places like that, because if there wasn't, I really don't know. I think these lads would be in prison, because it's just the only option they got, either that or death.
Throughout this documentary, I've explored what it is to be homeless and what is here to help these people. There's so many different charities and organisations which are helping the homeless, but it's still not enough, as numbers are still increasing, not only in Redbridge but worldwide. The issue of homelessness is a massive, massive problem. However, there is a sense of hope which we have seen throughout this journey. My perspective of this topic has changed so dramatically. Not every homeless person is guilty for the situation they're in. There's always an underlying story. So the next time you see a homeless person, think twice before you judge them, because anything can happen to anyone. And it could be tomorrow that you're on the streets with nowhere to go, nowhere to sleep, and nothing to eat.